Okay, we are running a little bit late. We'll call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and just so everybody knows, we have a issue here on that Judge Beadham needs to be here for. So whenever he comes over, he has a trial. We're going to just kind of shift over to him really quickly so he can go back to his trial. Minutes and reports received and filed.
We have none today.
Commissioner Committee Liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
The Mid-Mobile RPC annual dinner's Wednesday night. I'm not going to be able to attend. I think you guys are
I'm going, yeah.
going for a little while, so if I miss anything, you have to let me know. Then I have a Solid Waste Management District Advisory Committee board meeting Thursday. That's about it.
I have a Mid-Missouri Missouri Public Housing Agency meeting later today in Columbia, and on Thursday, a safety committee meeting. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I have, tomorrow morning, I have the workforce meeting over at the chamber. Then, yeah, I'm going to the Mid-Mo RPC dinner. Thursday night is the Rocks Masquerade Ball. I was gonna go as the sheriff, but I'm not gonna make it. Friday, Leadership Forum. Then at 2 p.m. In the Capitol Rotunda, we are inducting General John Pershing into the Military Hall of Fame. And then Sunday, the Building Community Bridges is having a trunk or treat, and I'm gonna go help on that. So that's all I've got. Okay, presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. Randy, you're an invited guest. Renewal of county employees' health, dental, life, vision, and optional life for the calendar year 2023 with Wall Street Group.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners and invited staff. Thank you very much for Joe and I to attend, and hard to believe it's a year again. I think we just did this a week ago. But we're very appreciative of working with the county for a long, long time on your employee benefits. And just a couple statements on that, as we have the pleasure of working with a lot of employers, large and small, and the employee benefits continually are a driver when you're trying to attract and retain, your talent, your employees. And Debbie knows that as well as the HR team, as well as anybody. And it's getting harder to retain and attract, and these benefits are a big part of that. So we take this very seriously of helping you all have a really good benefit program, which you've had for a long time. As a reminder, I'm going to hit a couple things high level, and we'll dig into some numbers. Years ago, we moved from what was a fully insured plan, where every year we would have Blue Cross or United come in and here's your renewal, and you were giving all those monies to the carrier. Nothing wrong with that, but as the county grew over time, it made more sense to tank your plan to what we call partial self-funded, where you're financing it. We break the pieces apart, so we're lowering the fixed cost. That allows us to put the majority of the money in your own bank account and pay claims after they're incurred by a member, processed through a network with a network discount, and then presented for payment both at the employee level. So if I'm an employee or a member, I'm paying my deductible and coinsurance, and then ultimately the county pays a claim up to a certain amount, which we call a specific deductible. So for each individual member of the plan, the county pays a certain amount if there's a high claimant. Beyond that, the reinsurance steps in. There's also an umbrella, if you will, we call aggregate coverage, which protects you if we had a lot of covered members go in any given year. We still have a ceiling that allows us to have some budget parameters. So with all of that, that's how we're set up financially. We've been working, when you look at the pieces, breaking it apart, we use UMR, which is a third-party administrator from United Healthcare. So today we're using UMR, which is on the left-hand side, and we'll talk about that in a moment. UMR does the administration. We access them to get to their network, which is United Healthcare. So you have the administration through UMR, as a reminder. The network, the provider network, is United Healthcare, so we're getting very good discounts when members go in. And there's two other pieces. One is the reinsurance, the stop loss I just mentioned, so we'll be talking about that in a moment. And another piece is the pharmacy, and I wanted to start with that this morning, which is on the right-hand side. If you pull that out, the blueprint where it says Smith Rx. Again, we could spend an hour talking about this. I'm going to keep it pretty high level for the sake of time, but currently we use a PBM, Pharmacy Benefit Manager, that's called Optum Rx. Optum is owned by United Healthcare, just like Anthem Blue Cross owns Ingenio. There's nothing wrong with that, but these large companies have purchased these pharmacy benefit management companies because there's a lot of money in pharmacy. And when they price their administration, they can blend in. When you use their pharmacy, they're keeping a piece of that pie, so to speak, still passing on some rebates and so forth to the county. But we wanted to benchmark that, and our job each year is to help you all control the risk, to look at other options and benchmark that. So we wanted to look at that on the pharmacy. So we'll be making a recommendation this morning to move from Optum to Smith Rx on the pharmacy piece. And if you open up the packet there with Smith Rx, I'm going to use this first page to walk you through why we're making those recommendations. Again, there's a lot of acronyms and moving parts here, so I'm going to kind of walk through this high level, but hopefully get everyone an understanding of what we're looking at. So first of all, on the very top, we did an analysis of 9/1 of 21 on the right-hand side, 12-month analysis, 9/1 of 21 through 8/31 of 22. So a rolling 12 months. We took the actual pharmacy claims that members incurred, whether it was a low-costing generic, a high-costing specialty, and we had Smith Rx reprice those same drugs through this contract that we would be recommending to put in place. And up on the top left, you'll notice there was 5,054 claims analyzed. So there's a lot of medications, obviously, with the employer your size that employees and dependents are filling in a given year. So on the left-hand side in the middle, or first of all, the large savings there, we are projecting a $506,000 savings, almost a 60% reduction in pharmacy spend. And that has nothing to do with increasing costs to the members. So this is keeping the current copay structure the same. When the members go in, if they're paying $10 for a medication a day, or $25 or whatever copayment they would be paying, this is not raising their cost, it's lowering the cost of acquiring that medication. And I'm going to explain how we're going to accomplish that with Smith. These numbers are real because we used the claims from last year. We don't know that every one of those claims will happen again next year, but a lot of them will because people are taking reoccurring medications. And while we might lose one high claimant taking a medication, chances are we're going to get another one. So the reality that there's a significant savings here, we feel very confident in. And when you look at the ingredient cost, just going down the current PBM, you'll see the ingredient cost was $1,038,000. It's slightly higher with Smith, but that's because they're taking in an inflation factor of next year. We know medications are going to go up in general. So they're definitely not coming in and saying, well, ours will only be $900. They're actually increasing what they expect pharmacy costs to be. The dispensing fee is what the pharmacy charges when they dispense a medication. So if someone goes to Walgreens, Walmart, or Whaley's, or wherever they might go, when those pharmacies dispense that medication to a member, they charge a fee, usually around $1 a script, if you will. So that's where that is. That's not a fee that directly paid by the members. It's a pharmacy fee. The admin fee, you'll notice that the current PBM, Optum, does not charge an admin fee. So the zero looks great, where Smith Rx charges an admin fee of, let's call it $30,000. The reason they do that is they give you 100% of the rebates. And you'll see the big number right below that, and that's where we're gaining a lot of savings. Rebates, as a reminder, we had $90,000 paid in rebates from Optum to the county over that time frame we're looking at. That would go to just over $300,000. And just to take a moment to remind everybody about rebates, for most brand medications and specialty high-costing medications, the manufacturers will pay rebates back to the PBM, the pharmacy benefit manager, when those drugs are filled. So if I go in and get a medication that's $600 and there's a 10% rebate, there's a $60 rebate going back to that pharmacy benefit management company. They're either keeping a piece of it to cover their cost, and in this case, not charge you an admin fee, or with SmithRx, they're gonna pass 100% of that rebate back. So by going, and this is a newer model that's available to us now in the market, but we're gonna get a substantial increase in rebates where currently Optum and United are keeping a piece of that. So let me stop with that first, just to see if there's any initial questions.
So we can still go to our local. I don't want it in my mailbox, so I can still, yeah.
Yep. So right below that, the member payment, we see the member cost going down because the cost of acquiring some of those medications will be less. So again, that's not that we're not recommending changing co-payments, but we think this is going to help the member at the member level too. Network management. This is a decision, and Sam, to your point, if we want to have mail transition, they do feel like a member's not forced to use mail, but if they want to use mail order, they can. And there's a transition benefit of doing that because you're getting away from individually 3 prescriptions being filled to 3 of those being filled. Those would be mail order, they would show up in the mail, but that's an individual member's choice if they want to take advantage of that or not. They don't have to do that. And that's something the county can make a decision on if you want to turn on the mail transition or not. You don't have to make that decision today. Clinical management, there's a lot of things they'll put into place where they feel like they can get some of the brand medications that the members are filling today moved over to generic, again, at the member's benefit because it's a lower cost to the member. The other big benefit here, this $520,000, is the SmithRx Connect. Again, we could spend a lot of time on this. I want to keep it pretty high level. You notice the first one, this patient assistance program of $440,000. So I want to explain this, what's available. In today's world of high-costing medications, and this is not very many members, but it's a lot of your high-cost medications, there are manufactured endowment funds that have been set up by these manufacturing companies, and they are income-based. So if Randy's a member and I'm taking a high-costing medication, I would have first of all, the SmithRx, if we have this clinical program turned on, as I go through prior authorization, which I do today with Optum, I'm approved for that medication. Instead of it just being filled at a normal high-costing environment where I might be paying a higher cost and the county is paying your portion of that medication up to your stop loss, it would be looked at to see if it's covered under the patient assistance program. There's about 800 medications on that list, which changes, but this is medications that have endowment funds, very large endowment funds set up. Again, it's income-based, so if that medication's on that, first of all, the medication qualifies, then the patient advocate would work with that member to see if they qualify from a household income standpoint. If they do, the member would get the medication at no cost, and that whole medication would be covered by the endowment fund and not be charged to the county on your claims register. So I'm just going to use a simple example of math for me. Randy's taking a $10,000 a month medication. Today, I might be getting that for very little cost because there's some copay savings programs out there that are not an income-based environment. But right now, the county's paying the bulk of that $120,000 medication up to your $75,000 specific deductible. If we can get that covered under the patient assistance at no detriment to the member, we've removed that whole $120,000 medication off of your claims register. Does that make sense? High level? So that's the benefit of looking at this. Optum Rx does not have that type of turnkey program built into their pharmacy. Any questions on that? Because that's a huge benefit, we feel, in making this transition. Okay? A lot more about that. There'll be some member education. We'll work with Debbie and the HR team on. Below that, there's a few different things like copay maximum. Again, if someone's not eligible because of an income based, their family's income is higher than what's allowed, there's still some copay assistance, coupon copayment cards from the manufacturers. We can also look at international outsourcing. This is something you can choose to turn on or not. There's not a lot of savings there. But if we would turn that on, it would be the opportunity for people to fill drugs like through Canada. It's still the same drug coming off the same manufacturing line, but it's filled through a Canadian pharmacy as an example versus a U.S. We don't have to turn that on, and those are some decisions we'll make as we go through implementation. So when you add all of that up, you have the total 500, almost 20,000 of savings. The rebate carve-out, what they mean here, and this is a cost, if you will, we'll lose about 102,000 of rebates. Now, we're not talking about the rebates up above here. The reason we're losing those is if the medication is filled through the patient assistance program, there's no rebate paid on that drug. But we've eliminated, in my example, the $120,000 drug, so getting a piece of that back in a rebate is not beneficial if we can get rid of the whole medication. So when you look at that and you look at the fees, adding those together, what you're looking at is currently we had a total cost of $846,000. Getting that down to, call it $340,000, is where we're coming up with the estimated $506,000 of savings. Again, using medications filled the past rolling 12 months, looking at what that would be under Smith. So our recommendation would be to move from Optum 1123 Optum RX to Smith RX. And I'll stop with that and just see if you have any additional questions.
Can you touch again on the mail order side of
Yep.
this?
So mail order, great question, Harry, is if you all want mail order as an option for the member, we can turn the mail order on. They do fill it through Walmart, so it is filled through Walmart nationally. It comes to that person's, comes to them at their home. So there's a convenience factor to it, but if you all decided you didn't want that turned on just from a Walmart competition standpoint to local pharmacies, that's a decision you can turn on or not. But if you don't have that function, then members would be filling it at their local pharmacy. You know, if I'm taking a monthly high blood pressure medicine, I'm going to fill it every 30 days versus having it get a 90-day supply through the mail. So, and those are things we can decide as we go through implementation and maybe have some more discussions with you all and Debbie regarding that. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So by definition, if you go mail order, you're going to get a lot more 90-day prescriptions versus 30 days.
The members who are eligible or that are taking a ongoing monthly
Right.
medication, if they're eligible for a 90-day supply, it could go through mail order.
Okay. And then it saves almost 50, no, was it?
Yep.
Almost 50, or is it?
It's going to save
Yeah.
the member cost as well as the plan.
Thank you.
I think now we go through Express Script, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to just stay local.
And you definitely, their members will still be able to fill things locally. You're not taking away from that, you know,
Okay.
as we would go forward. So, but a lot of members who can take mail order will, just for convenience and lowering cost. So our recommendation is, as we get to where if you're going to make final decisions today, we'll move on to a couple other things, would be to move the pharmacy to Smith RX. And then on the left-hand side, I wanted to go through, the first page talks about, we just highlighted a couple of yellow lines because there's a lot of numbers here. This is the renewal administrative fee overview from UMR. Again, UMR does the medical administration, but they also pull everything together, including the pharmacy, because they keep track of where that member is on deductibles and out-of-pockets, and they send you your claim reporting. So Smith would send data to UMR. They're pulling that into their system along with the medical. So if you look at the first highlighted line, this shows you the current medical claims administration fee. The current fee is $43.46, and they were holding that across the line. So on either option, whether we renew with Optum renew with UMR and continue to use Optum, you'll notice the line right below that with the red is $23 savings. Today, they're giving us a $23 fee credit to use Optum RX, which is their chosen PBM. While that's a good thing and it lowers our fixed cost, we know it's costing us dollars on the rebates because they're keeping a piece of that, which is called spread pricing. It's not wrong, it's just how the industry has been set up, but now you've got Smith RX as an option that's going to disrupt that. So on the far right side, what we're recommending is to stay with UMR. The fee is still $43.46, but we lose that $23. And you'll also notice they charge right down, if you go down that line, right above the 30% mark, you'll see a $3 charge there. They do charge a $3 external PBM fee, so they're charging an extra $3 to data collect back and forth with Smith. So that raises our current admin fee of the $22.79, which is the current $43.46 minus the $23, gets us to our current admin fee of $22.79 per employee per month, and that would raise to $48.79. So we are going to pay more in fixed cost, and if you go down to the very bottom to the last three lines on the left, we did the math for you, and the additional UMR administration fee of $48.79 versus the $22.79 is $94,000. So we are going to pay a higher fixed cost, and we show you how we got to that math. But we know we're going to be saving an estimated $500,000 with Smith, and we're still well over a $400,000 projected savings. So, which is fixed hard dollars if those claims happen again. So you're definitely money ahead to make that transition and pay a little bit higher admin fee to UMR. Any questions on that? Okay. The very last page is your renewal of your stop loss, your reinsurance. And we're not looking for a final decision today, but and I'll recap what we're asking for a decision on. We are having a large increase this year, and I'm going to hit on these highlighted rows. So the very top is we call it reinsurance or stop loss. It gives you a stop gap, both at the individual and the member level altogether, which we call aggregate. So we have several rows here. We have current, and right below there it says Sun Life. So the current with Sun Life, and the second row tells you that it's the $75,000 deductible. So we're quoting, here's what we're currently paying with a $75,000 deductible. That's the most you'd pay for any one individual member. And we're going to show you a renewal of that. We also showed on the third column over going to $100,000 specific. So that second line, third column over. So if we raise the deductible, it will lower the premium, just like raising a deductible on your car insurance. But then we also showed you one carrier, which is Berkeley Life and Health, both at a $75,000 specific and a $95,000. So a couple things. In the past several years, we've been, knock on wood, had really good renewals on stop loss, and we were able to make fairly early decisions. This is behind the scenes. This is not something that's member facing. We have this out to over 20 reinsurance markets, and Berkeley is just one of them that we've got some initial data back on. All the carriers wanted to see claims through October. So as we get through October, we're going to have those claims available in early November to where we can get that out to these markets and get firm numbers. So, but I wanted to highlight, if you go down to the third highlighted column, and this is important because this is hard dollars you're paying. The third highlighted column from left to right says total annual premium. So round numbers, we're currently paying $524, call it $525,000 a day for this $75,000 stop loss. That's the premium we're paying for them to cover any claim over $75,000 on any member. You can see the renewal is going to $774,000 if we don't get any relief and we would stay with Sun, which is almost a 50% increase. Next to that, we show the third column, which is going to $100,000 specific, so raising our risk that we're paying from 75 to 100 per person. It does lower the increase from the proposed 774,000 down the 642, gets it down to that 22% increase. But when you go across to the right, continue, you'll see how competitive the initial market is with Berkeley at the $75,000, getting it down to 21, or going to a 95,000 down to just under a 2% increase. I know I hit that pretty quick, but this kind of paints a picture. We feel like we're going to be able to get this renewal down, and that's either going to be coming back with leverage competition and get Sun Life to lower their numbers and either stay with Sun Life or move from Sun Life if needed. But the beauty of being self-funded again, your stop loss carrier's behind the scenes. So we're not changing anything that affects the employees as far as their doctors or UMR or so forth. So if with the county's approval, we'd like to table this decision until we can come back in November with firm rates, and we feel like we can get this cost down for the county on the reinsurance, if you will. Any questions on that?
And we're just waiting for numbers to come
Yeah.
in for October.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, kind of in recapping, and I'll have Debbie help me here, I think the things that would be great to make decisions on today, because Debbie and the team with us needs to get things organized for open enrollment education, is if the county commission can make a decision to stay with UMR as the administrator, that automatically keeps you with United Healthcare as far as the provider network. Move to Smith Rx on the pharmacy. We can make those decisions. We'll wait on the stop loss, as we just talked about. And then real quick on the ancillary non-medical, everything that we have with Sun Life there's no increase except for vision. It's going up 5%, which is a voluntary benefit the employees pay, which is about 50 cents a month. So it's a fairly small increase. Everything else is in a rate hold with Sun Life. And then I'll have Debbie maybe take it from there on your medical benefits and your premiums that you are looking at making final decisions on.
And I know you guys heard it from Randy as far as the cost savings from Smith RX versus what the stop loss may go up, or after negotiations, it may not go up as much. We're still gonna recommend that you keep the current pricing that we have for the health insurance for the children, the family, and for the employee. Keep it the same. I know in this world, everything is going up as far as cost, and you can see some of ours is going up, but Randy and them found a way to offset that with prescription drugs. So I would recommend we keep our pricing the same for the year 2023, and except for the vision going up as, I think it's like 40 cents per employee that have that option. So I'd like you to approve that, because we do have open enrollment next week, or the first week in November. But it can only get better from here as far as their negotiation yet on that stop loss insurance. So, you guys have any questions? The fund is doing well.
Right, the fund, there is a reserve that has built up over a number of years. Is it 3+?
3.2.
3.2 million. So if we do miss it by a nickel or dime, we still got the reserves to fall back on. I would probably agree with your
I do too.
approach there.
Yeah.
If I could just get a motion, then I will bring the contract back. Once the stop loss is finalized, I'll bring that back, and so you guys sign off on that. But as far as if you could approve the health, dental, life, and vision for the year 2023, just stay with Sun Life on the ancillary and UMR on the health insurance.
And move to Smith Rx on the
Yeah.
pharmacy.
Unless you guys have any questions.
No, I always look forward to this. I mean, if we can get the cost down on the actual Sun Life, or if we, are you saying then to not even look at Berkeley anymore?
No,
What
what
you
I'm saying,
recommend, Debbie?
we're recommending Jeff to not make a decision on the stop loss piece.
But I thought Debbie said something about staying with Sun Life.
That's for the ancillary.
Life and dental and vision. It's kind of confusing. We
They
have,
have both.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
Sun Life does the life, dental, vision, but we
Okay.
also happen to have our stop loss with Sun Life, but we're saying table the stop loss until we bring you back other options.
it all made sense, I mean, except for when, the other
Separate
Sun Life
ancillary.
for the ancillary stuff,
Yep.
so that kind of confused me. And then, I mean, if we get the numbers down and we're saving that much money on the pharmaceuticals, I mean, if there's some other ways we can save it for the employees, because that's one of the things we're having troubles doing right now, is keeping our employees. That's a benefit we could maybe pass on, so, I mean, I'd like to put that together when we have all the other information. So, I think everything that you said made sense. Go ahead and move on with the Smith RX, and then continue to look at the other numbers for Berkeley and Sun Life.
So would you make a motion?
How do you want all that worded? To go ahead and,
Right, just a first one, to renew the health insurance with UMR. For
as the administrator?
As, yeah, our Yeah, that would be
That's
the
right.
right term.
Okay, I'm good with that. Make a motion to continue with UMR as the administrator,
With Smith RX as the pharmacy.
with Smith RX as the pharmaceutical.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the ancillary products for the dental, vision, and optional life insurance to be renewed with Sun Life.
Okay, so to make a motion to renew with Sun Life, the life, dental, and vision insurance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then employer contribution levy.
Well, and that would entail the optional stuff for the employees.
And we need a motion to let employer contribution is
Oh, yeah, that's true. But you guys will continue to fund as far as the medical, the way it is in 2022.
Well, in other words, the employee cost doesn't change except for vision if they so elect to have vision?
That's right.
Okay. So I'll offer a motion that the employee cost for this health insurance, et cetera, not change except for vision at the option of the employee.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It is.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
Smith RX, that's amazing, the
Yeah.
difference.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, Randy, in our initial conversation a month or so ago, you were alerting us to how we've shifted from medical procedures to
Yep.
pharmacy or drugs. Is that a national trend?
Good question. It is. When you look back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I mean, the pharmacy cost of an employer was, single 10%, 12%. I mean, it is now 30+% and growing, and it fluctuates quickly if you get a couple members and take a
Bless you.
high-costing medication. And while we look at it from a business standpoint today, dollars and cents, I mean, these are your employees, your members who are having a health need, and the advances in medical and pharmacy care are helping them lead a healthier life, but it is expensive. So it's that balance of keeping up with that. But yeah, to your point, Harry, you're seeing a lot more, so that's lower costing on the medical. And there's no end in sight. I've said this before, and wrapping up, I mean, you watch the news at night, I mean, everything between sports and weather is a commercial for a pharmacy company. And that's good, but I mean, that's where all the research and development is, and they're expensive medications that do some life-saving things, but just costly. So this attacking the pharmacy, if you will, to try to find a better way to manage that risk, I think is wise. So
Yeah,
thank you all for that.
Thank you.
Look forward to the October numbers.
You
And
bet, we do too. We're gonna keep beating them up.
Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You bet.
Thank you.
And just so the employees remember, the open enrollment's like the 7th, 9th, and 10th of November. And we are talking about new insurance cards that will come to people's house with the new
you all.
Smith RX instead of Optum.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you. And yes, they're doing a wonderful job with us.
Oh, I think so too.
Especially in this time when everything's going up, this is a great news for the county employees. So thank you.
I'm sure Traveler's gonna come back.
I don't
Tell us. I'm teasing. Okay, we're gonna keep moving along because Judge Beadham's not here yet. Signing of grant application for local assistance and tribal consistency fund.
This is that grant that I sent you an email on. I have to go back in my office and get it, I'm sorry. This is a new ARPA allowance of money that was out there for Polk County to make an application for and to receive. There's $50,000 this year, there's $50,000 in 2023. There's not much restrictions on that money, so I showed you that in the email. So right now, I'm just asking for permission to do that application online.
Yes.
If you would approve that grant.
I'll make a motion to sign the grant application for local assistance and tribal consistency fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I got that email and I'm like, well, it's only 50,000, but 50,000
Well,
is,
and it's 100 altogether.
yeah, yeah. Here's our judge. This is good timing. Okay. Well, we're right at bid of 2022 2022-26 unarmed security guard services.
All right, so we bid out the unarmed security guard services for the courts. We had 3 vendors submit a response. After reviewing the RFP, our recommendation is to award the 2022-26 to Vet Securing America with a total annual amount of $120,328. They do have an increase in their price for year 2 and 3, which is in the bid tab. Do you guys have any questions on that?
No, I'd looked at all those, so.
Judge, I saw an email from you about we're not losing coverage at all, or there's no break in coverage.
The existing the contract we have now with Guardsmen, they give us notice they're terminating November 30th. This would allow them, the new people, to start November 21st.
The contract expires November
So we will not
20th.
require the county commission to operate the security portal in the interim.
Shoot.
Yeah, we were
No,
gonna
this is
send,
unarmed security.
we were gonna
so
send
no, you
Jeff
can't-
down there with his deer rifle.
I amend my shoot to a heck.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know what else, we were able to, with particular to this particular vendor, we were able to talk. It was difficult to find clients to talk to, but we ran down people who worked for them. And those people were happy working for them. And this is all, the whole thing turns on who's working the gate. And if the people are happy, then we generally have a good experience working the gate. But I mean, it reflects what we've seen everywhere in the world, is just everything just costs more.
Well, we had a lower bid on there too, and then talking to Jessica, she did some research on it, and she can't find
Yeah.
anything about these people.
Yeah.
So, just in full disclosure, we're not going with the lowest one. We're gonna go with the,
We were unable to find anybody who,
the rates we were paying before, I can't believe they can get anybody paid to sit over there for that amount of money. So, you knew this was coming at some point. And then you're recommending the Vets Securing America.
Yes.
Right, so, yep, I'm good with rolling with it. Do you have a contract then today, or?
No,
just need
I'll have
to
it on
award
next week's.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
make a motion to award the unarmed security guard services to Vets Securing America.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go back to court, Judge.
thank you so much for your accommodation.
I don't even know if we needed you, we could've done this via email.
Oh,
Thanks,
well.
Judge.
Okay, we have our 2022 bid tabs, signing of subrecipient agreements with various entities. So, just want to work our way down?
I would say, if you want to name the name and maybe the amount, however you want to do it. but-
Okay,
This is the first round. Been a while to get here, but attached to their agreement is their application. So then we'll work with each one of these individually to move forward with this.
okay.
How about if I did West County and you did East County?
They're
got
not all
it.
here.
You got it.
Well, I understand, but there's a list here that,
Yeah.
They're on the list
okay.
according to this list, they're on that.
I'll make a motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with Russellville Loman Fire Protection District in the amount of $155,823.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Got Lincoln next.
Yeah, although it sits in the Eastern District,
fine.
I'll do this one as well. How's that?
Yep.
Okay.
Getting done. It's all
Okay.
matters.
A motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with Lincoln University for $1 million.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll let Jeff do those two.
Let Jeff do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion to sign this subrecipient agreement with St. Francis Xavier Council 6430, and this is number 1 in the amount of $50,000.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to sign subrecipient agreement with St. Francis Xavier Council 6430, number 2 for $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. You can go ahead and do these next ones for CDFY there.
Okay, I've got a motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with Council for Drug-Free Youth number 1 for $25,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. A motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with Council for Drug-Free Youth number 2 for $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That should be yours,
Well, no,
Cole County Fire
no,
Protection District. Is that-
it's really Eastern, but, I mean,
South.
it's,
All right, make a motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with the Cole County Fire Protection District for $500,000.
second.
All in favor?
Aye. A motion to sign the sub-recipient agreement with Boys and Girls Club of Jefferson City in the amount of $300,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think the next one's Taos. Make a motion to sign sub-recipient agreement with Taos for $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that completes our first round.
There'll be more next week.
Okay, then we'll keep moving along. Signing of an addendum to the Newman Comley Ruth Agreement with the county assessor.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Once again, we have reached our limit on the addendum. We're looking at increasing it by another 50. As of the September billing, we're short $6,477. As far as the hearings and appeals are going, we've had 4 hearings so far. We have had 1 hotel stipulated and another one pending, and we have one in the circuit court. But the 4 hearings are just waiting to hear from the State Tax Commission on their ruling. They've all been heard, and we're just waiting on that. I think post briefs have been filed on all but 1. And then, as I said, we still have 1 to go to the circuit court. So that's where we're at right now. This has been a little bit of an unusual year with so many of them going forward to the State Tax Commission. Usually we might have 2 go to the State Tax Commission, but we've actually had 4 so far, and 1 goes straight to circuit court.
What, Chris, what happens next? I know, I mean, so,
Which one?
well, just pick one of them. You were waiting on the State Tax Commission. When will they be weighing in?
The ones with the hearings that we've already heard, post-hearing briefs have been filed on all of those, I think, except 1. And the referee who heard the case will review those briefs and then make a decision on those 4 cases, and then they will send out their decision. Depending on which way it goes, we'll either move forward with it or stop it there. As far as the stipulated, we have talked back and forth and agreed that we could reach a number that was fair to all. The last one is the circuit court case, and that's on an exemption, tax exemption, and they elected to go straight to circuit court with that, and they can do that with the tax exemption.
Was that, can you tell me which one that was?
MOCAN, the Missouri Community Action Network.
Okay. And these are all that came through the BOE some time ago.
2021.
Right, got it.
And we won't have any for the 2022 year because nobody went past the Board of Equalization. We had a couple that didn't appear, and you will make rulings on them, but then they failed to file with the State Tax Commission. The only thing that we could be looking at possibly is somebody who acquires the property between now and the end of the year. technically, I think they're not supposed to be able to appeal that, but the state tax commission has been doing that for the last 8 or 9 years.
So your ask today is just to, once again, amend
Yeah,
for a
increase
good
it from
reason.
50,000, go from 100,000 to 150,000. We started out, I think, at 30, and then 30 or 50, and this is the third addendum. So I guess we did 30, then we went to 50, no, 75, I'm sorry, and then 100, and now 150.
All right. And all of these disbursements come out of the assessment fund, and
That is
that's,
correct.
and that's why it's there.
Yes. So we have a large surplus.
And we're not just fighting them for us, it's for
No.
all the entities that receive the property tax money, so we're defending those monies.
Right. I'll offer a motion to sign the addendum to the Newman Comley Ruth agreement for an additional $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you.
So,
Will you send me that to Newman County, or will you Or
Send
you
it
can
to-
send it to me
Yeah.
and I can send it?
You, Dawn will scan it, send it to me, and then I can send it to them.
Thanks, Jim. Don, would you send me a copy, please? Thank you.
thanks, Chris. Okay, unfinished business, we have a contract with EMS that kind of fell through, that I think goes back to Chief Lindaworth, but the GEMT certification signing with EMS.
Yep, so every year we submit a cost report to Missouri Medicaid to recoup some of the reimbursed costs that we incur through delivering service throughout the year. So this is for the year fiscal year 1920. We did submit through the,
2019 to
2020.
2020.
yeah,
July 19.
yes,
Oh.
July
2019
2019 through
Yeah.
July 2020.
He said that earlier about Sam signing in 1920. I was
Yes.
like, Sam's lying about his age here. So,
Or is he?
I don't know, Pooples.
So we did receive these funds in the year 2020. They are completing their audit process and found that we did not sign this cost report. We did check the agenda. We checked back to try and find previous copies and records, and were unable to do so. So our consultant has asked to re-sign a new cost report so that everything is on the up and up. So I just ask for a motion to sign the 2019-2020 GEMT cost report.
Okay, I'll make a motion to sign the 2019 to 2020 GEMT certification, or what is the actual title of it?
Cost report.
Cost report. There it is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is back when I was little and I rode my tricycle to work.
I thought you invented the wheel.
Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
There isn't any this week, so.
Woo-hoo.
That was Lincoln I didn't get to you.
Oh. Do I need to sign all those? Okay, then we are going to Public Works Equipment Purchase Discussion and Approval.
So we have several items to discuss today. I got a little bit different order than what's on the agenda here. We'll start with the purchase of two Ford 3/4 ton 4x4 pickups. These are in our current year budget, split between the 211 and the 807 budget. They're with Joe Mockins Ford Lincoln, $51,043 each, for a total of $102,086 on the state contract. As we've discussed in the past, we've had trouble getting pickups. They're very high in demand, and there's just not a lot out there to get. Ford corporate is going to open up for government purchasing on November 7th. We have to have these purchase orders to the Joe Mockins Ford Lincoln before then. They'll submit the order as soon as possible. There's not a 100% guarantee we're going to get these, but if we can have everything set in place, they'll get the order in, and then we'll learn our fate afterward. So we would like to approve the purchase of these 2 trucks, and then we'll wait and see what happens on November 7th. So any questions about that?
No, I think this is the new normal.
Were these I saw your emails that came through, and I'm trying to refresh my memory on it. We had some of the stuff that was not on this year's budget. Were
That's-
these
These
on
are
this year's budget?
correct. These are in this year's
Okay.
budget, so
Okay, so those are
budget-wise,
easy
there's
to,
no issue with, pre-ordering
Okay.
stuff on these 2 in particular.
okay. That one's a lot cleaner and easier than the
Yes.
other one will be.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm fine with approving the purchase of them.
Sign this. So we have just the quote here from Ford, if you want to sign that, if you vote to approve.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
Offer a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Ford 3/4 ton 4x4 pickups with Joe Mockins Ford Lincoln for a total cost of $102,086.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
and that was on state contract, too.
Those are state contract, correct. Okay, so the next item is the approval of a purchase of a sign shop boom truck, and this would be for 2023. And as we've discussed in the past, lead times for getting equipment are getting out there pretty far. We have checked around different types of brands of truck that we want. In this case, we would like to go with Custom Truck One Source. They provided the shop truck that we got 2-3 years ago, give or take. They're very happy with that. This would be a Ford F650 with a Terex aerial boom. It'll replace the current truck. It's a 2007 International. It's got 97,000 miles. That's in need of replacement. We've had a lot of mechanical issues, especially with the boom. It's just getting to the end of its life for what would serve us, and it's hard to get parts for that. So we would like to replace this truck. The amount is $210,263. It is budgeted for next year, and in order to get this ordered, take advantage of current pricing, and get delivery next year, we need to go ahead and sign this or commit to purchasing this now. And typically with these, I don't know if it states it in here in particular, Tyler, you might know, we don't pay this until it actually take delivery of it. So we're gonna re-engage the discussion about ordering things in a future budget. We've kind of been back and forth on what the best process for that is. And Mark, do you have any feedback or concerns? Like I said, it's currently in next year's budget.
We did that in that road grader 2 years ago?
We did on the road grader, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've done it before. I mean, y'all know that you have limited amount to work with each year, and if this is coming out of next year's budget, then, I don't have a problem with it. We gotta get these ordered ahead of time now, unfortunately, the way the days are.
Is this gonna be out of 200 or out of capital?
This will be capital improvements. It'll be the 807 sales tax. And we have, the exact number escapes me, but it's about $440,000 a year, give or take, to put towards equipment. Now, it doesn't have to be that exact amount each year, but that's what we have allotted in the sales tax.
Did you say your current truck is a 2007?
It's a 7, yes.
You got your use out of that bad boy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna still have to use it for probably the next couple of years until this
Until
one comes
this one
in.
comes in.
Yeah, they're saying Q3, Q4 2023.
The other bid that we got on it was about a 7-year lead time
For
for the Altech.
I thought my truck cars were bad.
Gosh.
So that was part of the reason why we went with the Terex.
So I don't remember how we did it. If we paid it out of contingency this year, and then we put it back into contingency the following year, or how we encumbered it.
We did that on the last thing that we bought, and I want to say it was a dump truck, maybe. I know we did not do that on the grader. We just went ahead and,
So the grader wouldn't have to, it was POD, so.
yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't do the
so
PO.
then we
until-
really don't have to do anything besides approve it today, because we're not gonna have to pay anything this year.
We're just saying, go
Actually,
ahead
we'll
and
be
order.
paying
and
until
then-
'24.
Well, we'll budget, we'll put it, we'll PO it for next year and have it encumbered for next year.
Jeff, I think last time what you did was you said if it does come in for some reason before the end of the year, you would add a contingency. but-
Then we could do that,
Yes,
right,
that's
that's
what you
right.
did last time.
Excuse
That's
me.
correct. Bless you.
Thank you.
I think that's correct, so.
So if everybody's okay going ahead and approving the purchase of this, we'll sign it, get it ordered, and like I said, that gets the pricing locked in, and it gets it to us as soon as possible next year. Hopefully, it'll come in by the end of next year, is kind of the plan.
Yeah, it's quarter three, quarter four, 2023.
And we've had good luck with this particular company in getting things a little sooner than what some of the others can provide.
I'm good.
A motion to approve the purchase of Sign Shop Boom Truck for 2023, custom truck one source, in the amount of $210,263 to be paid out of the FY23 Capital Improvements Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the next item is the approval, purchase of a tandem dump truck for 2023, again, in next year's budget. There's two vendors on this. It's Shepherd's International Truck Center and Henderson Products. The international cabin, it'll be a cabin chassis for $131,465. With Henderson, it'll be a bed, plow, spreader, and hydraulic system for $132,325 for a grand total of $263,790. And these are on Sourcewell contracts, and I failed to mention the boom truck was Sourcewell as well. So these are all cooperative procurement contracts. With this dump truck, like I said, it's in the 2023 budget. We're going to replace a 2006 single axle dump truck. We're going to keep that in our fleet. We're going to rehab the cabin chassis like we did on the road tractor this past year. And depending on how funding works out towards the end of the year with our parts budget, we would like to purchase a new distributor tank and system to replace our old distributor truck, and we'll swap that onto this older cabin chassis. So that's the plan. That'll happen next year, but that's what we're going to do with the truck that is being replaced. This will be, just to note, the last tandem dump truck we bought in early 2021 cost $213,000. At 263, this is a 23% increase. That's how things are going. It just is what it is, and we're trying to adjust and make sure we can afford that. And part of the reason why we want to get this ordered now is to take advantage of this pricing. Another thing especially with steel prices, we found out on the last truck that there was a surcharge with the bed at the time that it came in, it was ready to be built. So we'll lock this pricing in, and then we won't have to face that. I think that's about it. Oh, one other thing to note, we will have to get with Mark when we look at the final budgeting in December. When we submitted our budget for the sign truck and then this dump truck, we submitted it at $440,000. It has increased to $474,053, and that's just since August. So again, it's important to lock these prices in, but we'll have to do some adjusting in our budget, which we'll work that with the auditor, no issues with that. So is there any questions about this particular truck?
Nope.
So I have two items to sign on that. And what I might do is I would like to discuss the next item before we sign this document with Shepherd's International. And maybe you can do two different votes or do them all together. So the next item, and it doesn't particularly call that out on the agenda, but we would like to buy two more international cabin chassis. These would be for the 2024 budget. These trucks we will replace in 2024. We're kind of doing some life cycling and kind of finally getting to where we can schedule well in advance of when we want to replace equipment. We would replace two tandem dump trucks. that, you got the mileage on them, they're gonna be upwards of 200,000 miles. They'll be a 2004 model and I think a 2006 or 7 model.
One's already over 300.
They're already, yeah, they're
Pushing right at it.
Okay, so it'll be way up there, definitely need to be replaced. With these two cabin chassis, we're finally getting to where dump trucks that we replace, we will change over the stainless steel bed. We will not have to buy a new bed for these trucks. We'll do that work in-house, and to get these trucks in time to do the work over a summer, we need to actually take delivery of these two trucks in 2024 early, like first quarter 2024, so our mechanic and crew can do the work over the summer. So in order to get everything in place and also to take advantage of the pricing, we would like to order these now. Again, we'll take deliver, we won't, and it'll specify in there that we won't take delivery until 2024, so it would be into that budget. But again, this is the plan as far as replacement of these trucks, and we'll save a substantial amount of money in not having to buy a new bed. We'll reuse the spreader and plow if it's still good. There might be a chance at that point that we'll have to replace that, but we'll address that at the time. You'll have some expense in doing the changeover with new hydraulic hoses and, additional items like that, but you're not gonna get into the $263,000 cost to replace a dump truck. It'll be substantially less than that. So will be the plan going forward. And again, we need to order these trucks now to make sure we have them at that time frame to do this changeover, and so it all works out in 2024.
So we can lock in the price now for
Yes.
2024.
A lot of these vendors are allowing us to do that just because they have a 2 to 3 year lead time.
I'd hate to see what that vehicle will cost in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then again, because we have to replace these trucks in 2024, if we order early, we won't get them in 2025. So it messes up the life cycle program for that. So I know it's getting a little out of the box and pre-ordering things and committing to future budgets.
It's called
We've had
planning.
this discussion, but if just, something goes totally haywire with our money in our budget for 2024, can we get out of this contract without penalty? Not necessarily. Okay.
Probably not. And if
We
we're.
take it and then we just sell it for more than what we was paying for it.
There you go.
you can, yeah, it's, yeah.
That's fine.
I
I
see
can't
what you're
remember
saying
the
though,
minutes.
Mark. I think we've got it covered in contingency if something would happen. I think that's a good thing about our funds being really healthy. I think this is good planning ahead. Now, is the one for 23 got a stainless bed on it too, coming from Henderson?
Yes, the 2023, that's all stainless.
What,
yes.
how many of them do we have that have stainless now that,
7 or
or how many that are not stainless, I guess?
Two.
2
Okay,
tandems.
so we're about out of that. We never used to be able to change the beds over. We always had to buy the new bed, so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good move. So,
Yeah, again, the crane we got last year has made that possible. Tyler and his crew made that possible as well.
when that truck that y'all redid looked great.
Yeah, the road tractor they
Yeah.
redid turned out great.
Yeah.
Gained a lot of life out of it. It didn't have a lot of miles, it just was aged.
Well, and what we would have got for it if we tried to sell it on gov deals or something was
Yeah.
nothing, so.
We just
be able to
recently,
reuse them.
replaced another tandem bed just this summer with one of these Henderson beds, and, it'll be able to be reused when we replace that truck.
Eric, the 440 budget of capital improvements, was that sort of based upon an escalating sales tax revenue or at a stagnant? or
No,
a-
we, so 440 times 5, whatever that is.
Okay,
So we
that was the
budgeted-
5-year number?
It's a 5-year, 2.2 million.
Okay.
Again, I'm not.
Right.
2.25, that's regard. It's, we don't escalate that now. It's approximately that much each year. In this case, we're gonna go a little over, so we'll just have to be a little under next year, and we'll just kind of see how the numbers work out at the end of the sales tax period.
Okay. And to the extent that they're more than, it gets your margin back? Okay. So what you need from us today is an authorization to order the
let's do 3 of the international. So again, I have 2 quotes, one with Shepherd's International Truck Center and the other with Henderson Products. We would order 3 with Shepherd's International and then just 1 unit with
You want to do them
Henderson.
separate since they're on different fiscal year budgets?
Yeah,
That's
If you wanna do
probably,
them separate.
not, yeah, that's
right.
probably.
Go ahead and do that. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do them 2 different ways there. Eric, we'll do the approval of the purchase of the tandem dump truck for 2023, Shepherd's International Truck Center and Henderson Projects in the amount of $263,790.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then make a motion to approve the purchase of additional 2 tandem dump trucks, cab and chassis for 2024 from Shepherd's International Truck Center, $131,465 each for a total of $262,930.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I appreciate it a lot. Got a good crew, good staff, being able to get these things done and be proactive and keep
Yeah.
things moving forward, so.
It's a good thing we're not in a recession, you know, according to Washington. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, radio purchases for Sheriff's Department. We
probably
spent
out of
all our
time,
money,
aren't we?
Sheriff.
That's cool. You already
We're out of
signed the
time.
transfer. So, I was gonna try to come in and talk to you earlier, Jeff, but Eric was in there talking about a manicure or something, I don't remember. But anyway, so we had 2 different projects going with ARPA. One was the Cradle Points that Brian had brought to my attention, and then the other was the radios. So we got 30 radios, 39 Cradle Points. They're gonna have to tear the cars completely apart to put the Cradle Points in it, so it's an optimal time to go ahead and install the radios too, because if they put the new radios in there later on, they're gonna have to tear the car apart again. So what I wanted to do was do a transfer and go ahead and purchase 7 more radios with the face plates this time and the right cabling this time. And go ahead and be able to do 39 and 39, so whenever they go into the shop to get rebuilt, they can just rebuild everything all at one time.
Yep, makes sense.
Agreed.
So basically, you're just informing us, we'll get the transfer, or we already got the transfer, so,
Yes, sir.
okay. Yep,
But to be open.
transparent.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. I just want to make sure that everybody was aware of what I was doing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And Brian approved this.
Okay. So do we have anything else? Do you have anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, I am going to mention, because that the 2022 Cole County, Missouri plat book is out, and the cost is $35 cash or check, and it can be purchased at the assessor's office, recorder's office, county clerk's office, or Cole County Public Works. So
Is it online as well?
I have no idea. I would have,
Say the cost was
it's $35.
I seen it on Facebook, but I'll look on our website.
I was
really-
thinking it was on the website as well, just,
It's really interesting. That's my commercial for this, this commission. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, need a motion to go into closed session.
A motion pursuant to Section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri. Commission will go into closed session to discuss the following: personnel issues under Section 610.021 subsection 13.
Second.
Roll call?
Sam,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes?
Jeff.
Yes. All righty.